Hello, you're watching Bent TV. My name is Erin Kyan, my pronouns are he, him, and we are broadcasting from the beautiful lands of the Kulin Nation. Today I am joined once again by our wonderful librarian, Roslyn, pronouns she, her, who is here to recommend some books for us to look at. Now, last time you were on, we talked about some kids' books. This time we're looking at adult queer non-fiction,
yes,
which I'm very excited about.
Me too. As much as I love my kids' books, I thought I'd give something for the adults. And I'm going to start with this one. This one is Queer Design by Andy Campbell. And it has an amazing history of design of queer icons, including flags and all sorts of things. I'll sort of show you where it's got about the Gilbert Baker flag, which is
the sort of the traditional.
What you think of when you think of the rainbow flag. So
yeah.
Big slab of text, that's not what you need. This one, so it's got all about how it evolved and how it was designed, why it was designed.
And how it's still evolving.
And how it's, constantly.
You know, these alter versions are like very recent as well.
Yes. Yeah. And then it's got more flags, like little segments about all the different icons and flags, even our emojis.
The emojis.
I love.
Because there's a lot of different pride flags.
Yes.
Like sometimes people aren't sure of that, but like there are a lot of different designs for all the different flavors of queer, if you will.
So again, you've got the sort of evolution. So for example, we've got the Progress Pride flag, with bisexual, and then you start getting into all the beautiful coloured ones. Which always makes me want to identify differently, which is
unfortunate.
Because I want a different flag. But I could just identify as all of them, they're so pretty.
And the really interesting thing to me about pride flags is that you have some designs that are decades old, like 50, 60 years old, and then other ones that have only been around for like 5 or 10 years. Like it's still an evolving part of our community and how we're figuring out these designs and how we use them.
Absolutely. And it's not just flags, it's a whole bunch of different symbols and that sort of thing, even down to some very early LGBT media. Including lesbian pulp fiction, which
is classic.
So good.
Yeah.
I love their 40s dresses and their
swooning. Yeah.
Because, you know, we can swoon too.
Yep.
Not just for straight people, we can all swoon.
I think we all know that we swoon better than straight people.
Yeah. T-shirt designs, all sorts of things, all the different iconography is particularly crossing over to people of colour as well, and different movements within queer.
Especially because, like, you know, the LGBTIQA plus community was filled with artists.
Yes.
You know, we're all very, like, it's very common for us to be artistic people, so it's, like, really cool to have this kind of catalogue of some of our most noteworthy and recognisable pieces of design.
And I will also just show the pins because I love a good pin, and we were talking about the pin collection.
If you're interested in pins, which if you're queer, there's a very good chance you are, the Australian Lesbian and Gay Archives actually has a huge collection of pins that have been available within Australia and Melbourne, which is really wonderful.
So these ones are from around the world, I believe, but I just love the different designs of how people have expressed sentiments and political. It's very political, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Because I think it is so tied in with political statement, and there's just pages of them, and they're gorgeous.
So that's Queer Design?
So that's Queer Design by Andy Campbell. The next one is Pride, 50 Years of Parades and Protests. And this is photos from the archives of the New York Times. So you can imagine there's some pretty intense imagery in here, but also some really amazing ones of pride marches and throughout the ages. And I feel like it really stirs me up and makes me kind of happy about the power of the people.
A history of pride?
Yeah, so it obviously starts Stonewall and that sort of thing. And a lot of the articles and stuff are in there as well.
Oh, interesting. So these sort of, not just photos, but other primary sources.
And how it was written about at the time, which is really interesting. I wouldn't read it if you were feeling fragile at the time.
Yeah, I can imagine, you know, I mean, the reason we have pride is because we've had to demand pride.
Right.
So it can be very intense to think about that part of history, but it is a part of our history.
Absolutely. And some of them I wish were in colour, because this is a giant pride flag. But
Oh, wow.
it's kind of hard to tell because it's in black and white. But
Pride?
yes, so this is
By-
Pride, 50 years of parades and protests. And
Is that just published by the
Uh,
New York Archives?
it's, I think it's just put under Pride, but depending on how your library functions. You
Yeah.
can also buy these, but I work for a library. But the text is by David Hoffman, so
Awesome.
depending on how they're categorizing that.
Yeah, wow.
Alrighty, and last but not least, this
Never least.
intensely bright
Oh,
cover.
it's so colourful. It's so wonderful. I love that about like queer books when they're just
It's so nice shelving
so
because it's just like
bright.
these bright colours and happy and joyful colours. So this one's called Queer Icons from Gay to Z, and there's a sort of a fad at the moment with junior non-fiction of having historical figures and little briefs about them in kid-friendly terms about what they did and influential historical people. And this is a sort of the same thing, but for a little bit more text-heavy. But they've got, say, Ellen DeGeneres, and they've got a whole bunch of things. Jonathan Van Ness, so they're the sort of more modern ones, but they go right back, all sorts of things.
So just a wonderful collection.
Just a wonderful
of
collection.
iconic queer people.
Iconic
Yeah.
queer people and important people who kind of have influenced the culture of queer. So like even Frida Kahlo is in here
Yeah,
with her amazing, and of course you can't forget Marsha.
of course. Yeah.
She's so gorgeous. It's in a very approachable format, so even for teens and stuff, I find this really approachable. Despite the fact that we've got it in our adult section, I think it's a really lovely way of.
And also just a wonderful way to get a feel for the people who have been a part of our history.
Yes.
You know, because often when we're a part of our communities, we're thinking about the people we connect with one-on-one in person, maybe the people who came before them, but like, I mean, this is a global community. Like, we are a
Absolutely.
global movement of people, and this is a lot of the people who have been a major part of that.
Absolutely, and how broad the community can be. And scientists, entertainers. It's not just the people you see in Hollywood
Yeah.
that are out and proud. There's a lot more to it and a lot more people contributing to what we consider as current queer culture.
Yeah.
So that one's really lovely, very, very approachable, like I said.
And
particularly
very
for young-
colourful. Will
very
look
colourful.
very good on your bookshelf.
Yes, it looks stunning on your bookshelf. And obviously very easy to find because it's neon pink.
Yeah.
So that one is
Queer icons
Patrick Boyle, Queer
from Gay to Z.
from
which is
Gay
delightful.
to Z. So yes, activists, artists, and trailblazers.
Fantastic. So those are 3 excellent non-fiction books for you to brush up on your queer history, or just have something nice to leave on your coffee table.
Coffee table.
Either way, yeah. Roslyn, thank you so much
No
for
problems at
giving
all.
us more books to read, which I know is very difficult for you.
I know. I just, it's really
So hard
to
to have to share your
wander and-
passion
yeah.
with people.
No.
Thank you so much for coming on, and hopefully we will have you back with more book recommendations another time.
Try and stop me.
You've been watching Bent TV. My name is Erin Kyan. Thank you very much for watching.